Hey there, and welcome. If you're looking at studying abroad or maybe applying for a visa, then you've probably heard of the PTE Academic Exam. Today, we're going to break it all down for you, piece by piece. So, you're getting ready for the test, right? And maybe you're looking at the whole thing for the first time. If it seems a bit complex, maybe even a little intimidating, well, that's totally normal. But hey, there is absolutely no need to worry. I'm here to guide you through it step by step. Let's just think of this as your friendly guide to getting started on the right foot. We'll do it together. So, what's on the agenda today? First, we'll cover the basics, what PTE Academic even is. Then, we'll walk through the 3 parts of the exam. After that, we'll unlock the secrets of the AI scorer. This is a big one. Then, we'll share some must-know tips for test day. And finally, lay out your path to success. All right, let's start at the very beginning. What exactly is the PTE Academic Exam? Let's cover the absolute fundamentals you need to know. First off, PTE just stands for the Pearson Test of English. Now, the most important thing to remember is that it's 100% computer-based. This is a really big deal. You'll never speak to a human examiner. Instead, you'll be talking into a microphone and typing all your answers on a computer. So why are so many students choosing PTE? Well, for one, the results are incredibly fast. We're talking usually within just 2 days. And because an AI does all the grading, it's completely fair. There's no human bias. The standards are the same no matter where you take the test in the world. And it's accepted by thousands of universities. Yep, even places like Harvard and Yale. And by governments like Australia and New Zealand for visas. And here's something you've got to keep in mind. That word academic is in the name for a reason. The test questions aren't about everyday things like going to the grocery store. You should expect to see university-level topics. Things like science, history, and life at university. Okay, next up, let's take a quick tour of how the test is actually structured. The whole exam is broken down into 3 main parts, which we call modules. The entire test takes about 2 hours to finish, and get this, it just flows from one section to the next with no scheduled breaks. It all starts with part 1, speaking and writing, which is the longest section. As soon as you're done with that, you move right into part 2, which is reading, and then you finish up with part 3, listening. So, let's look a little closer at that first part. For the speaking tasks, you'll be doing things like reading a text out loud, repeating a sentence you hear, describing a graph or a chart, and even summarizing a short lecture. Then, for the writing part, you'll have to summarize a written text and write a short essay. Now, for the reading and listening parts, you'll see different kinds of tasks. In reading, you'll be filling in blanks and putting jumbled paragraphs back in the right order. In listening, you'll summarize something you hear, and now I want you to pay super close attention to this last one. You'll have to write down a sentence exactly as you hear it. That super important task is called write from dictation. Okay, listen up, because this next section, it might just be the most important part of our entire chat today. Why? Because really understanding how the AI scores your test, well, that's the real secret to getting a great score. PTE uses this really unique system called integrated scoring. And what that means is that a single question can actually give you points in more than one area at the same time. It's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. For example, when you do a speaking task, you might also be earning points for your listening skills. And this shows you exactly how it works. So, imagine this. You're doing the repeat sentence task. When you do a good job, your score goes up for both speaking and listening. See? And in the same way, when you do that write from dictation task, it boosts your score for both listening and writing. It's all connected. So here is the bottom line, and this is huge. Not all questions are created equal. Some tasks are worth way more points than others. If you look at this table, you can see where you should be focusing your energy. Write from dictation is absolutely critical. It gives you a ton of points for both listening and writing. But then you have something like multiple choice, which is really low value. You don't want to waste too much time on that one. Okay, so we know what the test is. We know how it's scored. Now let's talk about the big day itself. Here are some simple, practical tips to help you go in there feeling confident and ready to go. This is a rule you absolutely, positively must remember for the speaking section. It's called the 3-second rule. As soon as that microphone says recording, you have to start talking within 3 seconds. If you stay quiet for more than 3 seconds, poof, the microphone just shuts off and you can't get it back for that question. So even if you hesitate or make a little mistake, just keep on talking. So what does the A actually want to hear? Well, it cares way more about fluency than it does about perfection. It is much better to say a sentence smoothly, even with a small mistake, than it is to stop, correct yourself, and start over. Pausing or using filler words like or that's going to lower your score. Just try to speak at a confident, normal speed. All right, 3 super quick but super important tips for test day. First, your mic position is key. Don't put it right in front of your mouth. Place it off to the side, maybe near your chin or your nose. This helps avoid those breathy pop sounds. Second, the room is going to be noisy with other people talking. Just focus on your own screen and use a normal speaking voice. And finally, you get an erasable notepad. Always put the cap back on that marker so it doesn't dry out on you. Phew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's just pull it all together and go over the key things you need to remember to set you on your path to success. So here's your final checklist. First, make sure you understand the 3 parts of the test. Second, focus your practice time on those high-value tasks, especially right from dictation. For the speaking part, never forget that 3-second rule. And remember, speak fluently, not perfectly, and make sure that microphone is in the right spot. Seriously, these simple tips can make a huge difference. And as you continue to prepare, I just want you to remember this. The goal here is clear communication, not perfection. The AI just wants to see how well you can communicate in an academic English-speaking world. With the right strategy and a bit of practice, you can absolutely do this. You've got this.